with the main opposition party, which is the Congress. Of course, they're all the regional
Exactly.
players. And the Congress did promise the loan waivers in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. It worked for them. They did implement it as well. That may be bad economics as well and more populism. But they're competing with that.
Yeah, except you have to understand that the election's not won in the drawing rooms of South Delhi or South Bombay. You have to really...
That's what Piyush Goyal referred to. He said, AC mein baithne wale wo kya janenge? You know, ki hum kya karne wale.
Well, he spent about 80% of his time detailing what the government has done in the previous 4.5 years. So basically, this was an appeal to the people that, look, we have done this much for 4.5 years. Give us time for another 5 years to do even more.
Okay, Pranjal Sharma, Pranjal, at the end of the day, the middle class is often ignored. As I said, they are the ones who've borne the brunt of demonetization, along with, other businesses, other small income groups particularly. They also dealt with GST. In a way, could we see this as a thank you gift from the government, for dealing with all that, for continuing to support a lot of the schemes and a lot of the populist policies that are uplifting the poor, but are also helping, political parties win elections?
Absolutely. The middle class and the professionals, the self-employed, this is a very important category. And if you look at many of the first-time voters are also, the millennials, the startup generation, they're all part of this category of people who are, living by their wits. They don't have capital, but they have their knowledge and they have their brains to live by. So I think for them it's important to get some kind of incentives. Last few years, the government has been talking about expanding the tax base, bringing more and more tax, payers into the net, and that's been a very sore point for all the people in this category, because they feel that 20% of the population is paying tax for the rest of the 80%. So why don't we expand the base and reduce the burden on everybody? And I think this is the first of those steps. Even though the tax base hasn't risen, it has improved, but not significantly or not widely enough. I think there's scope for far more. But the fact is that this time the middle class can feel the impact of all the taxation changes, whether it's GST, whether it's demonetization, which they, suffered and tolerated and somehow overcame. And now it's time for them to feel that, well, this is some kind of a payback for us, some kind of a reward for us, so that the pressure on our income and our taxation burden will ease.
Aman Sinha of the BJP also joining us at this point. Aman Sinha, it's the last budget of your government before you go to the hustings. Do you believe this will help you get votes? Do you believe you managed to give a please-all budget to all communities, which will help you win this upcoming Lok Sabha election? And which, particularly, Aman, according to you, are the main factors in this budget which you will go to the people which we will hear in your campaign speeches in the days ahead?
No, the government has come out with the best possible budget, which is in the best possible interest of the country, which addresses the concerns of the economy and which goes towards strengthening the economy, laying foundation for a modern developed India, regardless of the elections, Uday. Now, let me tell you that this is a historic visionary budget in not one but several aspects. And some of the real path-breaking changes, I believe you were also discussing just a while back.
Yeah.
The income tax exemption limit or rebate limit has been increased right up to 5 lakhs, and with all the standard deductions and other deductions, it will, anybody who earns up to 8 lakh is not going to pay any kind of income tax. Now, somebody was just mentioning about the tax net. Let me tell you that the tax net has widened. It has in fact doubled from what it was in UPA era. As far as farmers and agrarian sector is concerned, we have some of the real visionary schemes which have come. The allocation itself in the agrarian sector, Uday, it has been more than doubled than what it was in the UPA era. The Pradhan Mantri Kisan scheme is yet another support scheme for the marginalized farmers, and it will provide them much needed support. But that apart, besides that, Uday, the 1.5% of the MSP that we are providing, which is a statutory enactment now, and therefore on all the 22 crops, the farmers are guaranteed of that.
Yes.
There may be some distribution problems in some states where, there might be certain exceptions. However, that is a statutory enactment. The government has passed it. We are all bound and we are all obliged to follow it. That apart, in the agrarian sector, 60,000 crore has been given under Manrega. The Kisan credit card, another 5% rebate on interest.
Yes.
Farmers are going to get. So there are several measures. As far as middle class is concerned, it's a bonanza.
No,
and
I did
one,
speak about the benefits for the middle class and the agriculture sector earlier, Aman. But one of the criticisms that certain analysts and your opposition parties have had with this budget is that there was no real mention of jobs or creation of jobs in the budget today. And that has been a sore point which we have seen particularly the Congress party raise in the last few days. And this, along with this entire controversy of the National Statistics Commission and that leaked jobs report, they're asking your government, where is the real plan to create jobs, and why was that not mentioned? We have seen particularly the Congress party raise in the last few days, and this, along with this entire controversy of the National Statistics Commission and that leaked jobs report, they're asking your government, where is the real plan to create jobs, and why was that not mentioned today?
Uday, if a country is the fastest growing economy for 4 consecutive years, and we are going to clock that this year also, and if, take for instance any, transformational scheme which has come, for instance, Mudra scheme, 15 crore loans have been handed out, even if 1 or 2 jobs were created, just imagine the kind of jobs that would have been created. No country, please ask any economist, he will endorse this, that a country which grows as the fastest growing economy of the world, major growing economy of the world for 4 consecutive years, there has to be robust job growth rate. And any macroeconomic numbers that you see there, whether it is EPF account or for that matter any other number, you will find that there is robust job growth rate. Just because there is no structured data for the unorganized sector, it doesn't mean that people will try to build up a narrative. The fact of the matter is, Uday, that in the UPA era, it was an era of double-digit inflation rate and low growth rate. We have reversed that. We are firmly on course to double-digit growth rate and low inflation rates. We have highest forex reserves ratio. Foreign direct investments are highest. Obviously, we have become from number 13, we have become the 5th biggest economy on verge of overtaking our colonial rulers, British. Obviously, there are large number of the economy is in a robust state. There are large number of employment generation and avenues for economic activity.
Okay, point taken, Aman Sinha. Let's get the Congress in as well. Ami Yajnik.
Accept a repetition of Startup India, Skill India, Make in India, where there are no manufacturing units, and you see the MSME sector, and you see the small industries, and you see the credit rating in the system in that particular industrial sections, and no employment generation. You can't say that, well, we are looking at all the jobs that are created. We have no data, and there was no answer or not a mention of how they are going to create jobs, let alone not talk about 2014 2 crore jobs a year. That answer has never been given by this government. They go on talking about that there has been growth, but what about this growth without jobs? What are you going to hand over to the youth, and what